Scotty sure is loading. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't seen some of the things that have been said on some of the podcasts this week. Listen, there was plenty of people who played the game better than me. If my name makes views, then listen, you do it. You do it, girls. You do it. You come for me. Scotty's just still loading.
Hi guys, it's Jodie here from ODE. Now Love Island is over for another year. I can't quite believe it. It's just flown in. But that doesn't mean that our interviews are over, because I have pulled Scott for a chat, who joins me now. How you doing?
But hungover. Time that wrong. A little bit hungover. Live screening last night. Yeah. I'd have been back in the country less than 24 hours, but here we are. This is where it all starts.
Well, listen, good effort for getting in here, because
Yeah,
I genuinely wasn't
Dragged
sure. How was the screening last night?
It was good. Obviously, seen a few of the recently dumped Islanders. Yeah, just enjoying my time, going and sort of interacting with people for the first time. Obviously, when you're in the villa, that's just your house. You're just living with people. You know the cameras are there, but you forget about it at the same time, and the whole nation's watching. So yeah, it's nice to come back and sort of people know who you are, and yeah, people taking photos with me. Why do they want photos with me? I don't understand. Yeah,
I can understand.
But
is it just felt like a bit of a dream the past 24 hours then?
It's just been a bit mad. Yes. I can't say it's a dream because I've had no sleep. So I haven't had time to dream. But yeah, it's just been a bit mad.
Well, thank you for making the effort to come in and chat to me. I know that's probably the last thing anyone wants to do when they're hungover and sleep deprived.
It's
but
all good.
I'm so glad we've got you in, because you were very popular this year. So
I have seen. I am aware of what people have been saying and the sort of stuff that's been going around online. Yeah.
And you managed to get a few tweets out.
I did manage to get a tweet out.
Scottisha is loading.
Scotty sure is loading. I'm not going to lie and say I haven't seen some of the things that have been said on some of the podcasts this week. I have seen them.
It's been a lot.
It has been a lot. I got bored in the holding villa, and I thought, you know what? Why not?
It was an iconic tweet. I absolutely loved it.
Tweet. I thought the more iconic one was the one I put up the day before.
Remind
nice to have
me.
your phone back. Also nice to not get called a game player 74 times a day.
Well, this is it. So do you feel like every day in the villa, someone at some point would just call you a game player?
A little bit, but people need to realise, like, you're not just living your life normally in there.
Yeah.
Everyone sort of, not is playing a game, but everyone sort of needs to know what's going on. And for me, I thought I was pretty switched on as to what was going on every week, as to what the next thing happening. And I sort of sometimes predicted stuff, and I was right. So people thought, oh, he's a game player. Oh, he's doing that. Like, it didn't come out, the accusations didn't come out of nowhere, just the reasoning behind them. They thought the game playing was me and Catherine. It wasn't. It was just because I sort of knew what was going on. I'd watched Love Island before. I knew what was going on and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, listen, there was plenty of people who played the game better than me.
Right. Well, let's get into it. Let's do a deep dive, because Scottisha needs to be unleashed, I feel.
Okay.
So, where do you think these kind of comments came from that you were playing a game? Is this just because you were excited and you were talking about the elements of being on the show, like followers and whatnot? Or where could it have came from for people to suspect you?
I think everyone in there, obviously it's never shown, but everyone's talking about followers.
Yeah.
It's a conversation within the boys. Every single one of us mentioned it. I don't know why I was singled out. And then there's the element of, I probably didn't talk about Catherine in group discussions as much as I should have.
Right.
But what pissed me off, I'd never said a bad word about the girl. That's why I pulled everyone around the fire pit, and I was like, what have I said? I've not said a bad word. You're just making assumptions. You're just making your opinions based off nothing, based off me saying nothing. That's what it was about. So yeah, it pissed me off a little bit.
So what's it been like to come out and see like all the kind of slander you've had in podcasts? Because everyone's been going in on Scott a little bit.
Oh, listen, I was... My name's the key word.
I know.
My name seems to get views, so keep it going.
You're a hot topic.
Yeah, seems like it. Obviously, I spoke to Katie and Uzi last night. They said, don't take anything personally. And I said, listen, when I go on the podcast, don't take anything personally.
This is your time.
Don't take anything personally. Because listen, when we come to Katie knows what she's doing. Katie played the game better than anyone in there. The comments that she made to me, to Molly and Zach, she knows what she's doing. She's done this. She's been in this game for 7 years. Every single thing where she acts innocent about it, she's not acting innocent. She knows exactly what she's doing. Katie's being Katie. I respect her for it. I love Katie. But don't come at me, because you're doing it better than anyone, girl.
Well, I think she said in one of the podcasts that you'd maybe come out and go as far as admitting that you were playing a game.
No, I just sort of... So when I said about, like, sort of speculating, so we always got told never to speculate.
Okay.
So when I sort of speculated and got things right, sort of bragged about it a little bit. I was like, I knew Maya was coming in yesterday. I knew I was doing this. So there was a little bit of that. And people have just, there was so much he said, she said that things
Maybe they were thinking you're like a
things
producer plant or something.
Exactly.
Really, you're just mystic?
Yeah. I think people thought I worked there or something. I
can't deal with that.
So yeah.
But you were just guessing things and getting it right.Maybe you're psychic, Scott.
I think it was just a little bit like I'd watched the show before.
Yeah.
You get a feeling of what's going on. And that's what I was doing. I probably didn't live in the moment as much as I should have.
Okay.
And like sort of when you spoke to the producers and that, like they sort of said just live in the moment a little bit more. But yeah, I never did. I sort of was always looking ahead. I was always looking like sort of what's next. I've always been someone who plans in advance.
Apparently you were the most difficult person to live with and that you were rude and all that as well. I mean, what would you say to that?
Right, so I never said please. I'll get that out there.
Okay.
But I always said thank you.
Okay.
So basically it'd be like, will you chuck us this? Or will you chuck us some white chocolate from the fridge? They did it, I say thank you. And they're like, but after I originally ask, will you chuck some white chocolate? They'll be like, oh, so where's your please? And I'm like, listen, I understand the people saying that, but I always said my thank yous. Katie said one about me leaving my beard trimmings in the sink. That is the biggest load of shit ever. I cleaned it up every time. It was never me. So that's just a load of crap. First 2 weeks I made my bed. Towards the end I couldn't be arsed.
Apparently, you weren't making your bed as well. That was another
but
thing.
First 2 weeks I did every single day, and then I just sort of couldn't be arsed. I'd then become single, so I went back into the lounge, and then I come back into it. And yeah, just by the time towards the last couple of weeks. Oh, I've seen one that Tink said about foot markings on the bed. Something. Again, another load of shit. So what it was, so I don't know if any of you can ever see the beds. So you'd lie on your bed and then I'd put my feet up on the end of the bed. There was like a little white backboard. I'd put my feet on there. So that's all it was. Like, I was never putting my feet on my own bed or anything.
Why do you think you've become like such a target then?
Keyword, buzzword. People want to come for me. If my name makes views, then listen, you do it. You do it, girls. You do it. You come for me.
But let's talk about your time in the villa. So obviously there was you and Catherine. That was a major kind of storyline. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, I was totally shitting it. And I've said this to Catherine as well. I was really shitting it. I was really rooting for you guys. Where do you think it started to go wrong?
I think, obviously, coming out now, I can now see how much everyone else sabotaged it.
Yeah.
There was so many opinions, and they were all directed at me and Catherine. Now, I do not know what the reason for that was. But yeah, I started to think it was other people in Catherine's ear. And then, obviously, my biggest fear coming into Love Island was standing alone and the girl I was with coming in with someone.
Oh.
I, went into that fear. It happened. Again, it didn't come across. I ended it on the night. There was a reason that conversation got so heated, because Catherine come back to me and said, I just want to explore another option. I've only had 3 days with them. I want to explore that more. So she wanted to explore us both. And I was like, no. My pride was so hurt at this point. Okay. I was like, no. You go with Ellen. That's it. Done. Like, we are done. Then a couple of days later, so I'd basically then sort of not ignored her for 2 days, but I'd been like, she wasn't part of a plan of action or anything to get her back. And then a couple of days later, I thought, if we're going to be friends, I need to admit that like it did actually hurt me.
Yeah.
And then that was sort of portrayed as me trying to get her back, and it wasn't the case.
Right.
So yeah, like how sort of the things have come out about Catherine, it's probably not right. Like that's why I said what I said on After Sun the other day, because it's not right. The storyline's not been exactly like that.
Yeah. Do you think Catherine's maybe kind of like, unfortunately, became almost like a bit of a villain by accident in a way?
Yeah. I mean, listen, she did what she did at Casa. She did that. So I can't defend her for that aspect. But after it, yeah, I don't think it was as bad as sort of she made out. Yeah. Movie night pissed me off a lot. That was one that, see, I can sort of get past things. I can take a step back. Yeah, and things don't really affect me. Movie night was the one night in the whole thing that affected me properly. That pissed me off so much, because I think it was Amber started the rumor. Amber had told the girls that I was going after all the girls and no one was interested in me. So they think no one wanted you. Now that would be hard for me to take, even if it was true. But the fact that it was a lie, and now everyone's seen that it was a lie, and everyone from the outside can see it was a lie. Gabby's come out saying it was a lie.
Yeah, and I did find that hard to believe. I mean, look at you for a start, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I find it hard to believe that no one wanted you, but that was quite a hard thing to watch at movie night, because obviously it's quite a horrible comment. How was that when you heard that? It
was just annoying because it wasn't true. Like, and I was just hoping that everyone from the outside could see it, because it almost come across as if none of the boys were backing me up on movie night, and now the boys never isolated me. I got on with the boys the whole
Right.
time. But coming from the outside now, looking back, I think the boys probably should have stuck up for me a little bit more on movie night. Because the girls had each other's backs. The boys probably should have had each other's back a little bit more.
Yeah, there's been a few like kind of lonely Scott edits out there. Did you ever
Yeah.
feel like on your own in there? Did you feel a bit lost at times?
I took myself out the equation most of the time. So what everyone needs to understand is, Mitch is Mitch, 24/7 a day.
Yeah.
To be honest, even when he's sleeping.
Still messy Mitch and he's like...
Messy Mitch in his sleep. Mitch is like that bundle of energy all day. I cannot deal with it. I can deal with that a few hours. I cannot deal with that all day.
Yeah.
And then Ty is Ty all day. Now, I love him. I love Ty and I love Mitch, but I can't deal with that all day. Sometimes I need to take myself out the equation. I need to take myself to a place where I'm just like chilling on my own. I'm like, just need a break from all this.
Yeah.
And then it was edited as if I was like, all
I
the boys were having a
know.
conversation. I was on my own.
I think it's
It
because
was
people were worried that you were kind of being excluded or something. I think that's
No.
how maybe people thought it was.
No.
Apparently, you said to Katie that the only reason why you didn't recouple at Casa is because you weren't impressed with the lineup.
No, so basically, after Casa, I was like saying to people, obviously I held a little bit of a, not a grudge, but my pride was like really hurt by Casa. Standing there alone, someone else walking back in, you can imagine what it's like. It's a tough one to take.
Horrible.
So no, it wasn't. I was never saying the lineup wasn't better. It was more like no one wowed me at Casa. The way Catherine wowed me when I first went in. When Casa happened, no one did that.
Right.
So I was like, how could I expect to even possibly think about turning my head when there's no one that I thought was on. No one. They're all good-looking girls. Let's get that straight. I'm not saying they're not good-looking. They are good-looking girls. It's just that same aspect that Catherine did. Yeah, it just wasn't on that level for me.
So let's talk about Suitcase Gate. I don't know if you've seen this, but Catherine basically explained that when the girls got their suitcases at Casa Amor, the guys had kind of put something in for every girl, like a wee sentimental thing, and she had thought that you had put a hoodie in for her, but it turns out that the hoodie was Katie's. So I think she then felt when she got the suitcase, because there wasn't anything in it sentimental from you, I think that's when she kind of thought, oh, okay, maybe he's just wanting to crack on elsewhere. Does it just slip your mind, or...?
No, it wasn't a case of that. It was, I'd watched the show before, but I couldn't really remember what happened at Casa, like with the suitcase thing. I was just packing the biggest load of shit ever. Like I'm going to pack the worst possible stuff here. I do not want her to have anything. The 6 boys that are going to be sticking on here. I do not want her to have anything at all. Now, don't get me wrong, Catherine's right. I should have packed something sentimental. I completely forgot about it. It never crossed my mind when it should have, but it was just a matter of, just pack the biggest load of shit ever. I do not want her to have anything that she could possibly look good in or make her even more attractive in.
I love it. Secret sabotage.
So I was like absolutely trying to sabatage her in Casa.
So anyway, you're
Didn't
like
work,
you're trying to actually kind of protect what you had with her by like sabotaging outfits and stuff.
A little bit of that.
I love that. Now, she said before Casa that you had a conversation about when Casa happens that you'll be open, and that you said if Bombshells come in you would be open. Did that conversation happen?
I tell you what, she is telling the truth. So it was said it was Bombshells and Casa were open for. And in the villa were closed off to anyone else within the villa, sort of thing.
Now, she also said that when yous were in Casa, when they were talking about who's going to recouple, all the girls were like, oh, Scott will definitely recouple. So can you kind of see now with the things before, everyone in her head, like pretty much the whole villa in her head about you and maybe your intentions and stuff, then the no sentimental thing in the suitcase, the previous conversations that you've had about potentially being open, can you see why she kind of thought in Casa maybe she should crack on?
I can see why, but there's no difference between girls and boys here. A lot of people are coming at Montel about Ty getting in his head. You can't let you're your own person at the end of the day. You can't let people get in your head. I think she did what she wanted to do. I did what I wanted to do. I said we took Casa for 2 completely different experiences. So I can understand where she's coming from, but I'm not going to give her the benefit of the doubt on it.
Okay.
Like,
I did ask her if she knew that you weren't going to recouple, would she have? And she was like, no, she would have been closed off. Maybe I'm just romanticising what we saw on TV, but I genuinely did feel like there could be something really special there, and I just feel like it's all just been a big miscommunication, Scott.
But listen, there could have been, but it's all if buts and maybes.
But are you the sort of person that once you've decided you're done, you're done?
Never say never with it.
Yeah.
I will say never say never, but again, I ended that on the night, and at no point have I ever come back to Catherine and said, I want to sort of reopen that.
For the benefit of any doubt, is there a chance that you and Catherine could potentially rekindle things?
Right now, at this moment in time, no.
Okay.
But never say never. That's the little bit of hope you can all hold on to. The never say never with it. But right now, no, it's not something I'm instantly looking to get back.
But when you were reunited with her at the screening last night, did the feelings come back? Because she's absolutely beautiful.
No, she is. I've never made a secret of that. She is. She's a stunning girl. Yeah, we just got on. We were really good friends. When I was in there, Catherine, there was no one that was Catherine for me. Again, even after, and I think people could see it with Abby. I think I was always sort of comparing to what I had with Catherine and the way I went about it and how natural it was with Catherine. And with Abby, it probably just wasn't as sort of natural. I think Catherine was always the number one for me in there. But listen, she did what she did at Casa, and that's the be all and end all of it. I had people getting into my head.
Obviously, we saw you guys getting a wee cheeky selfie last night. So what was it actually like to reunite? Did you have much of a conversation? Was there time?
We had a lot of conversations last night. We spent a lot of the night together. We spent quite a bit of time together. Spoke about a lot. Spoke about all that's going on. We're not going to pretend we're oblivious to this. We sort of spoke about it, just how mad it is, sort of thing. We had a good time together. We were really good friends. So I had a selfie with a few last night, but the one with me and Catherine was always going to be the one that blows up, sort of thing. So it was nice reuniting with her.
And just once and for all, then, did you go in there with a game plan?
So Katie, as this comment has been made, I said to Katie I wanted to stay in for a minimum of 4 weeks. Categorically, that is not true. I said it to her last night. That is not true. Again, Katie with the one-liners. She's being Katie. She knows what she's doing.
Was it awkward then last night, or
no? It was fine. I said I'm not going to hold it. I've never been one to hold grudges. That's why I can be they can come to me being nice to people. With Katie, and obviously I do like Katie and I do like Uzi. Obviously they've said what they've said.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally. This is my chance to say it sort of back now.
Listen, I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you get back to North Wales. Thank you so much for coming in.
Problem.
Really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you letting me come on here, sort of speak my truth.
Scottisha. Done. Mic drop.
No. Scottisha's still loading. Don't worry. This is only part of the story. Don't you worry.
Love it.